Hi guys, it is Mike again with yet another video about this cool tracking sheet that I have made for you guys. So let's go ahead and just jump right in. Currently this is the sheet that we're using to track health and everything on, and you guys know that we are tracking skills on it as well. I know this may seem a little redundant to you guys to keep this here when I know you're keeping it in Hero Lab and also in Fantasy Grounds, but by making some sort of a chart to track the skill points that you're using, it makes it a lot easier for me to reconcile that there aren't any mistakes and that sort of thing. So I can just match up a single number to what's in Fantasy Grounds and Hero Lab, and I know that everything is kosher. So that's kind of what's going on. Rather than using this old sheet, I've come up with a new way of doing this, so we'll be scrapping this in favor of what I'm about to show you. If you recall, in my very first video, I took you through the very first thing you should do on this sheet, which is fill out this sheet. And we filled it out on behalf of Grim, the Paladin, filled in his levels. It automatically calculated his class skills. He doesn't have any favored class bonuses to skills. Well, he chose not to use any anyway. He's putting them in his hit points. Doesn't get any sort of racial bonus. He picked some profession and perform names down here. He came up with a profession called Temple Guard. His background bonuses were a rank of religion and a rank of Temple Guard, and his dedicated skill that he gets 1 point in each level forever is survival. We also calculated his languages, and we'll talk about that a little bit more when we get to it. So we've already done all of this. I'm not going to take you through it again. Well, maybe I just did, but I did it faster than the first time. So now let's go look at this new skill tracking tab. So what this guy is showing you is my name is Grim and I am level 5, and I've got 20 potential levels of skills here. Here's all the skills down the left column. And again, I'm really zoomed in here so that you guys can see this on a video. I would not actually operate with it this zoomed in probably if I was working with it as from the player side. I've got 22 skill points available to allocate. And apparently I've gone through 5 levels without ever allocating any, so I need to get caught up. As usual, the things you need to fill in are in green, and then there's stuff in red you can ignore. It'll either fill in automatically or it'll unlock at some future date. You know, for instance, when you level up to 6th level, then the 6th level column will obviously open up and turn green. So the first thing we need to do is follow these instructions. These are not fixed for everyone. They are dynamic based on the individual player. So yours aren't going to be the same as the guy sitting next to you unless you guys are eerily similar for some weird reason. So it is important that you read these and you apply these every time you level up. First thing it's telling me is that I've got a dedicated skill and I need to place 1 skill point in survival each level. You'll see it not only shows me the total number of ranks I've got to spend here, but the specific number of ranks I've got for each level here. So first thing it told me to do is put 1 rank in survival each level forever. So I've got 5 levels to fill in. I'm going to put a 1 in each level, representing the fact that I got 1 rank at each level of survival. So now I come up here, you'll see I've got 17 ranks left to allocate, and these numbers are changing as we go as well. Next, I've got a background skill, place 1 point in knowledge religion at 1st level. So this I'll only do at 1st level. Knowledge religion 1 point. All right. Next one, another background skill, profession Temple Guard, also just at 1st level. Of course, I could raise them on my own later, but this is what the background ranks are. Now you see I'm down to 3 ranks at every level to spend because it's doing the math as we go. And then lastly, I need to add 1 rank to Cosmic Awareness at levels 1 through 5. So that's right here, 1 rank every level, Cosmic Awareness. You won't get any more than those first 5 from me, but you can expand your Cosmic Awareness just by spending ranks in the future or by using your downtime to connect with the universe. And we'll talk about that in the downtime video. So now I'm down to where I have got just 2 ranks left in every level, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2 ranks left to spend, which fits perfectly with the character info that we had before where I earned 2 ranks per Paladin level, didn't get any other bonuses, and everything else that we allocated was kind of spoken for in a specific way. So let's figure out what we're going to do with these 2 ranks at each level. I'm not going to try to make it match what Grimm has actually done in the real world. To show you something else about the sheet, he is going to put 1 point in linguistics every rank. And then we'll just spread his others. Obviously, Grimm is incredibly acrobatic, so we'll put a point in acrobatics every level. And you'll see it's zeroed out now that I've used all of my ranks. Now, there's nothing on the sheet that's going to stop you from spending too many ranks. So if I put another one here in appraise, but it will tell you that you've gone into the negative. So that'll indicate to you that that column has got a problem in it that you need to fix, and get it out of there just by hitting delete, or you can change it to a 0 if that's, if that's what makes you happy. It, works out the same either way mathematically, obviously. Now we see that we've spent all our 22 ranks. There is one other field here that we're going to talk about, but I'm going to show you what's going on with that linguistics first. So let's go back to the character info tab. This is where we keep up with our language in addition to calculating all these skill ranks. And you'll see that now that I have added 5 ranks of linguistics, there are 5 unassigned green lines for languages here. So I can come through and pick myself my new 5 languages. There is no accounting going on here that's keeping you from selecting a language that you've already selected. So that's on you. That's on you to figure that out, that you're not doubling up and wasting a slot on something you already did. Shows you everything you've chosen here, and you can see the selections you made over time here. But you know that I have a house rule that every time you spend 4 points, 4 skill ranks into linguistics, you get a bonus skill. And lo and behold, if you come down here, you'll see that you're getting that bonus rank for putting 4 in. So you can pick another point here. You notice some of these are in red. You guys probably remember this house rule, but it's repeated up here as well. If you don't have a 15 intelligence, you cannot learn secret languages. Also, I added another language out here. This is just sort of reminiscent of the stuff we used to do in older games. I put a team sign language out here. So if you guys want to have a silent way to communicate, in sort of a combat situation when maybe you're sneaking up on somebody, stealthing through the dungeon, whatever, you guys can develop your own sign language. You can't start with this because you didn't know each other. It has to be something you develop going forward. But if anybody wants to throw a point in team sign language, feel free to, and then you'll have a way to communicate in at least a rudimentary way without actually speaking. So now all of a sudden Grimm speaks a lot of languages. We see them listed there. Let's go back to the skill tracking sheet. This is the last thing I'm going to show you in this video. In addition to keeping up with the skill ranks that you've assigned to specific skills, I'd also like to keep up with any modifiers that you have to skills. So for instance, let's say you have the alertness feat. That it gives you +2 on perception and sense motive checks. All right. So all we want to do is put those 2 skills in this drop down here. Let's go with perception and sense motive. There we go. And the source would be the alertness feat. And I can type that again here. And then the modifier is 2. The way the sheet works, you can put a positive number in just as itself. If for some reason, if it was a negative modifier, you can put a minus in front of it. But if you're trying to put in a positive modifier, don't put a plus in front of it because the sheet will think you're trying to put in a formula. So positives are just normal numbers. Negatives can have a negative in front of them. And then lastly, is this a permanent or situational bonus? In this case, it's permanent. All the time you're getting the bonus of 2 to perception and sense motive. There are some things that are situational. I was looking for an example, and I noticed that one of the traits that you can take if you're a dwarf is called Gold Sniffer. And in that case, you get a bonus to perception, but only as it relates to metals, jewels, gemstones, coins, stuff like that. So you'd put in, I've got the Gold Sniffer trait, and it's +2 to perception, but it is situational. And that basically tells me, hey, okay, that's very interesting that you've got this, but I'm not going to actually put it on your sheet because it's not all the time thing. You're going to have to remember to add it when it applies. I think that is really all there is to show you about this sheet. I haven't got much more to talk about as it relates to skills, so let's call this video done. And if you have any questions, let me know. Thanks very much.